been a crazy week and month and year. All this coronavirus insanity has been, well, insane. And mainly the boredom is palpable. I think people are bored out of their minds already. Can't go to movie theaters, can't go to restaurants. And so I'm hoping that through these videos I can offer some sort of relief for you. A little bit of a break from all the coronavirus doom and gloom, and also just a distraction from your boredom. And so over the coming weeks, I'm planning on putting out more videos than I might normally do in the same amount of time. But I don't know that I'm going to be able to go out and do any on-location videos until this stuff calms down. My first thought was like, oh, what a great time to go camping. I'm not allowed to do anything else. But then I started to think, well, what if shit really hits the fan while I'm out there? And my wife is stuck home high and dry while they're sending out the National Guard to take care of looters and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to be stuck out in the desert when if that happens. So I don't know that I'll be able to do on-location videos anytime soon, so I apologize for that. Also, by putting out videos more frequently over the coming weeks, I think my production value is going to have to suffer a little bit. Part of the reason I don't put out that many videos in the first place is because I put a lot of time into the editing and the production value. And if I start doing it more frequently, that's naturally going to suffer. So I hope that doesn't make you unsubscribe. Please stick with me. Don't leave. Things will get better and things will get back to normal after the world gets back to normal. But I plan on putting out a few videos to help ease your boredom suffering. And in this video, what I want to do is a little bit of an image review. Now, don't get too excited. The pictures are not like my best work ever. It's some pictures that I've been sitting on since January. I was just going to put them out on Instagram. I wasn't planning on doing a video about it, but hey, we got time to kill, don't we? So I figured I'd do a video with it. I also have some recommendations on distractions. I got a couple of distractions that I've been utilizing to help ease the terror and also the boredom. And I'll share with you what I've been doing to stay distracted. And then finally, I'll end this with a little story. You know, in a previous video where I covered an image review from my London and Paris trip, I ended that video with a story about the worst 24 hours of my life, which involved several toilets and many things getting expelled from my body. And this story is actually along those lines, and I'll be covering that in the second half. And since it's along those lines, don't be sitting down to a big bowl of oatmeal or something while you listen to it. Let's start with the distractions I've been utilizing through this tough time. Number one is a magazine, Photo Classic International. A YouTube viewer sent this to me. I didn't know this magazine existed, but it's everything I've wanted a magazine to be. And I didn't even know it. This is a magazine entirely about analog photography. It's so awesome, man. The articles are great. The pictures are great. I mean, if you look through this, it's unreal. I mean, what magazine has pictures of cameras like that in 2020? And look, a Kodak ad on the back in 2020. If you're into film photography, if you're into analog photography, believe me, this will be right up your alley. It's really, really cool. So if you're into the kind of stuff I'm into, analog photography, maybe check out Photo Classic International. Maybe get yourself a subscription to help you get through these tough times. So that's one thing I'm using to help pass the time these days. And then the other thing I like to turn to is it's a TV show based out of Australia. And I think it used to be on network TV there, but now they have their own online streaming catalog. So you can watch all the TV shows that they've put out through their own streaming website. The TV show was originally called All for Adventure. That was probably a horrible Australian accent, but I ain't stopping. Now it's at unleash.tv. And it's an adventure show. It's these two guys, Jason and Simon, and they're going to go out into the bush with some 4x4s, and they're going to get bogged. They're going to go fishing. They're going to eat some tucker, and I reckon they're going to have a real good time. And I love this show. I've been watching it on YouTube for years, and then I finally pulled the trigger and subscribed to their monthly thing, which is $9.99 per month Australian dollars. So in US dollars, I think that's only like $7.50 or $8 or something like that. It's worth it, man. They got like 120 hours of content on there, and it's a great way to pass the time. It's really entertaining. There's no photography, so don't get excited there. It's a couple of guys just going off-roading with some incredible trucks, by the way. And they go boating and they find real cool locations. You know, if you like my on-location videos where I go out to the desert to take pictures, you'll probably love this series. Maybe check it out on YouTube first to see if you like it. Just type in All for Adventure or Unleashed TV. Check out Jason Simon and have a real good time. All right, done with the accent. Okay, so let's get into the image review. So these pictures, again, they're not like phenomenal, amazing pieces, but they might be fun to look at. These pictures are part of a series that I'm continually working on now called Dead Inside. And I originally introduced this series in a previous video where I shot a building that was built in 1987. It's that video where I was dressed like a jackass and I was talking about how much I love the late 80s, early 90s. That was the start of a series of photos called Dead Inside, which is basically you know, corporate buildings that have been moved out of or kind of abandoned, and they're dead inside now. The pictures I want to share with you today are part of that series. So the first set is this building I shot in Orange County here is like a, I don't know, 5-story building or something like that. And one of the tenants clearly had 2 of the floors, entire floors, and they moved out. And the place was just like kind of gutted. And I found these doors all piled up against the wall. And I took several pictures of this because I don't really know exactly what appealed to me about this other than, I don't know, I guess I liked that, you know, this entire company was distilled down to a bunch of doors just leaning against the wall. I think that's kind of interesting. You know, we have these like jobs, these corporate jobs where everything is so important and so stressful and we're worried about bosses and office politics and getting the job and getting the promotion and making money and going home to support our families and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually it all just gets boiled down to a bunch of doors just leaning against the wall. It's like all the life just drained out of those 2 floors and all that's left is some doors. And I think that's kind of interesting and poetic in a strange way. So I got some pictures of that. And then also there was another suite on this same building, different suite, that was also vacant, completely emptied out. It didn't have a whole lot of character to it, so I didn't get a ton of photos there. But again, it was kind of interesting seeing like motivational sayings on the wall, like sell, 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 and all this kind of stuff, and whiteboards that had those like faded ghost images of things that were written on there with diagrams and motivation and all this kind of stuff. And then it's just empty. Again, it's just all that excitement and all that important stuff just disappears. And now it's just an empty shell of what it once was. I think that's kind of fascinating. But in one of the rooms, I found a site that I was so delighted to see when I stumbled upon it. They had taken all of the parking, like reserved parking signs for this company, pulled them out of the lot, and then piled them up against the wall in this back room. And I loved seeing that because, again, you know, people were like coveting these parking spots. Ooh, salesman of the month gets the sweet parking spot. Employee of the month gets this nice parking spot. And then now they're just a bunch of signs piled up against a wall. And I also love that they had these dirty feet where they were stuck into the ground. And that's against this nice clean carpet. I just love the juxtaposition. So I really like that photo. Now the next series of photos was a different property. And, you know, these pictures that I'm about to show you, again, I've been sitting on them since January. They seem particularly eerie in light of current events, almost prescient. Hold on. Prescient. Yeah, okay, I used that word right. These pictures are of this facility that apparently was a storage facility for hospital equipment. I don't know if it was retired hospital equipment to be recycled or thrown away, or if they were storing it temporarily, but there was like a bunch of hospital beds, a bunch of IV stands, a bunch of hospital equipment just piled up. Now, the beautiful thing about this facility is that it was a mess. It was chaos. You know, things were just piled up all over the place. And I love that kind of chaos because I'm very orderly in general. You probably see that in my compositions. I like symmetry and I like things clean and all that. So I really like seeing this kind of chaos. It's fascinating to me. But given the state of the world today and how freaked we are about hospitals not having enough supplies and everything, these are particularly eerie to me. Again, they're not amazing photos. I know they're not like amazing photos or anything, but I love the content. I love the chaos of it. I particularly loved all these IV stands lined up against this wall. And it didn't photograph as well as I liked. The background was maybe clashing with the subject a little too much, but still, I love seeing all this stuff piled into one spot. I think it's interesting. And it really makes me think about all the people that were dependent on this equipment. Like, how many people were experiencing the worst day of their life with that equipment right there to help them? Laying on the equipment sometimes, you know, if you have these hospital beds. And it's just interesting to see this equipment, which was so important and so vital, just get thrown into this really ugly lot to be kind of forgotten or recycled or whatever. I think it's fascinating to see. But mainly, I love the clutter, man. Like, you could look at it forever. It's like, okay, there's a piece of a microwave. There's another microwave. There's some chairs. There's a treadmill in the back. Like, I don't know where all this stuff came from, but I love that it's just thrown in, piled up. Someone will get to it later. Someone will figure it out later. So that's those pictures. And then finally, on this same lot, this is just kind of random here, but there was a cigarette vending machine, which you of course don't see these anywhere anymore. You can't even smoke anywhere anymore, let alone get some cigarettes from a freaking vending machine. I don't know how they kept kids from getting it. I guess they didn't really care back then. Different times, crazy times. This is coming from someone living through a world pandemic. I think now is crazy times. So there's the pictures. So, you know, not much, just 2 rolls of 645, nothing major. But hopefully that filled a little bit of your time. Now, as far as the pictures go, I shot all of them on my Mamiya 645 Pro TL, mostly with my 55mm lens. This is quickly becoming my favorite camera for handheld photography like this. The fast lenses, you know, this is a 2.8 55mm. I also have an 80mm 1.9, I think it is. So the fast lenses make shooting handheld relatively easy. The format size is just right for me. Anything bigger and depth of field becomes really tricky. You know, if I'm shooting 6x7 with my RZ or something, I have to be real careful with depth of field if I'm shooting handheld. This gives me a little more leeway on that. And it's bigger than 35mm, which I like because I love the medium format look. 35mm, I generally don't feel like it can get me the intricate details that I get with a larger film format. But mainly, I just love using this camera. It's got a built-in light meter, so I don't have to carry my Pentax. It's got auto wind if I want it, or I can do a manual wind. It's just a really great camera. So I'll be talking more about this camera soon in my next Behind the Glass with the Glass. But that's what I've been using for these pictures. Really, really love this Mamiya 645 Pro TL. All right, so that's the image review. Now let me tell you a little story. So as I've alluded to in previous videos, I'm an architectural photographer by trade, so I actually photograph office buildings as my main source of income. Generally what they want is they want daytime exterior photos, they want interior photos, and they want dusk photos. So about a 45-minute window after sunset is when I do my dusk photos. So I had this job in Riverside, California, which from here in Orange County, that's about a 45-minute to an hour-long drive, depending on how deep in Riverside it is. And I think it was on a Friday, so I wanted to get home at a reasonable hour. I decided to do my dusk photos at dawn. So that means I'm gonna have to wake up super early and get there like an hour before sunrise. So I do just that. I wake up real early and I get out to the property. Now there's something you should know about me. Sometimes when I wake up really, really early, I get, how do I put this delicately? I get the shits. I get diarrhea. I get the old Tallahassee mud. I don't know if that's a saying, but whatever. My stomach hurts and I have to take care of it. I think it's my body punishing me for waking up early. I think it's my intestines irritated that I broke their slumber and it's gonna punish me. The reason I think that is because when it happens, I'll wake up and then it doesn't kick in for like an hour. Like it gives me like an hour to go back to bed. It's like, you going back to bed? If you do, I won't do this. But if you're staying awake, I'm gonna put you in for a world of hurt. So this is one of those mornings. So I get there, I do my morning photos and everything's fine, but as I'm getting to my last photo, it's starting to kick in. I'm getting the rumblies and the tumblies. And by the time my last photo's done, I go and sit in my car and I'm just trying to slow my breathing. I'm trying to will myself for this to not happen. Okay, don't do this to me, intestines. So I'm controlling my breathing, but it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And it's a bad case of it. I'm talking knee buckling diarrhea. The kind where you're sitting in a chair and you're holding yourself to the chair. You're pushing yourself down to try and prevent the worst from happening. Now, I'm in a part of Riverside where there is nowhere I can go take care of this. Nothing's open yet. There's no Starbucks. There's no fast food. There's nothing nearby where I can just go destroy their bathroom and be on my merry way. So I just have to wait it out. I have to sit in my car and just hold it in until someone shows up to this office, because I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be an early bird. Someone's going to show up to work at like 6 a.m. and then I'll be able to walk in with them. The door's locked, by the way. That's why I need someone to show up. I'll be able to walk in with them. They can let me in. I'll use the lobby bathroom and no one needs to be the wiser. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. I'm sweating bullets. That's the other thing. When I'm holding it in, I'm just sweating like crazy. But finally, someone pulls into the parking lot. First worker of the day. Now he's going to get out of his car and walk to the front door, and I got to time it so that I walk up right as he walks up, and I'm sweating. I got to like look natural, look normal. I'm dabbing myself. I'm just waddling up like this is going to be weird. I'm going to freak this guy out. But I do that. I walk up, I time it so we get to the door at the same time, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here to take pictures today. Hopefully they told you." He's like, "Oh yeah, they told us. Thank God." Okay. So I got an in. And I'm like, I just wanted to come in and go scout the lobby out, just get some angles and find out where to put my camera and scope out the light. He's like, "All right, yeah, come on in." So I go in with him, and he gets into the elevator and he's holding the elevator. "You need to go upstairs?" I'm like, "Nope, just gonna check out the lobby here." I want him to get in the elevator and get up so I can frantically try and find the bathroom. He says, "Okay," so he goes up, and then I'm looking around frantically looking for the bathroom in the lobby. There is no bathroom in the lobby. Okay, now I'm screwed. But I get in the elevator. I'm thinking, okay, second floor, third floor, some floors got a lobby bathroom. So I get in, I press in second floor, it lights up, turns right off, and the doors don't close. That's weird. I try it again, lights up, turns off. All right, third floor, lights up, off. Fourth floor, lights up, off. Fifth floor, lights up, off. None of the buttons are working. The door's not closing. And that's when it dawns on me, the elevator doesn't work this early in the morning unless you have a key card. That's why he asked if I need to go up. I can't get to a bathroom. So I waddle back out to my car, and now I'm frantically looking. Okay, where's the nearest fast food joint? I need to find something. I find a Jack in the Box that I've actually been to before. It's not in the greatest part of town. It's the closest fast food joint, which is not close. It's still a drive away, but that's my only option. So I make my way over to the Jack in the Box, and the way it's set up, so you got the ordering station, of course, but there's a hallway for the bathrooms. Off to the left, you got the kitchen door. Off to the right, you have the men's room, and then at the end of the hall, you have the ladies' room. So I stumble in, push open the men's room, basically kick open the first stall I find. I sit down and I just let it go. I probably lifted 2 inches off the seat with that much force. But I take care of my business. The sweat is starting to calm down. I'm feeling better. My rumblies and the tumblies are going away, and things are finally, okay, I can relax. I finish my business. I get up, wash my hands, and walk out of the bathroom. Now, as I'm coming out of the bathroom, someone comes out of the other bathroom, so the ladies' room. But it's a dude. And he comes out of the ladies' room and he gives me a weird look. And I give him a weird look back, like, "When are you coming out of the ladies' room?" He walks past me, and I'm sitting there like, what the hell is that guy in the ladies' room for? And then I look over my shoulder, and behind me, the door I just came out of was the ladies' room. I went into the ladies' room, and that's why he was giving me such a weird look. So in my stupor of trying to find a toilet, I pushed my way into the ladies' room, not realizing it. I just went to the nearest bathroom I could find, and I just destroyed the ladies' room in a Jack in the Box in Riverside. Thank God nobody came in while I was in there. I was in such a stupor, I didn't even realize there's no urinals. I just went into the first stall. That's what that kind of morning stomachache will do to your brain. So I went to the counter, sheepishly ordered a small soda, so I didn't feel so bad about destroying the bathroom. and then hightailed it out of there with my tail between my legs. So there you go. That was a rough morning. All right, so a little bit of distraction for you, hopefully. I got more distractions coming for you, I hope. Stay safe, stay sane. I don't think enough people are saying that. Try to keep your wits about you. I know it's hard when you're stuck at home, when your normal daily life is completely disrupted, and mainly there's a lot of fear out there, man. I'm not afraid to admit it. It's scary. You read the news and it's easy to get freaked out. So try and distance yourself from the news as much as possible. We're all going to get through this. We'll come out in the end. Some people, unfortunately, are going to experience this in a very negative way, but I think the vast majority of people, we're going to come through this just fine. We're going to be stronger for it, and things will be back to normal eventually. And we'll look back on this as a learning experience more than anything. So stay safe, stay sane. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.